Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's a different sort of video than what I'm used to doing, so I hope you're going to enjoy it. Basically, I explained in my last video, at the beginning of my last video last week, I think, that we were going through a really hard time with the boys currently. They were poorly and then teething and all mixed with what I think was aggression, or maybe it was just that they weren't very well, but it went on for so long. And oh my god, I swear, when you're in those tough times with a toddler or a newborn, you feel like it's never going to end, and that's just life from there on out. Like, this is how it's going to be, and you're like, how am I going to get through this? And I did it again. I was sat there thinking, this is how it's going to be. I can't cope with my life like this. And oh my god, when you get out of that, it is just like a completely different life. So thank goodness they're much happier and much better now. But going back to when they were poorly, I was sitting there one day and I thought, I need to just change my outlook. I sit around worrying about how I'm going to keep the boys busy all day and like stop them from crying and make them happier, and really you can't. There's nothing that you can do when they're poorly like that. They just want you, and you need to just switch off and be okay with that. And I do struggle being like, okay, today we're not going to do anything, we're not going to achieve a thing, we're just going to sit and cuddle. And I've been trying to change my outlook, especially as a stay-at-home mum, and I tweaked a few things and decided that this is how I was going to live my week, and oh my goodness, it really helped. So I'm hoping that I can give you all some tips or just a different outlook when you have these hard times with your little ones, and hopefully you can get through the days a little bit easier. Man, don't I know, when you have two crying toddlers just clinging to your feet day in, day out, it is just so tiring and so exhausting. So hang in there. If you're going through something like this right now, I totally understand. I'm here with you. But there are ways that you can make it easier on yourself, because I really didn't at the beginning of last week or the week before. I was really elevating the problem, I think. So yeah, we had a change of outlook, and the second week was a lot better. So I'm going to share with you now things that I did, and I hope you'll enjoy this video. Okay, so I'll be honest, I don't usually get up an hour before the boys. I'm more of a 10 minutes before type of girl, you know? But during this crazy couple of weeks, I decided to use this hour to get a head start on the day, as I know for the majority of it, I will have my hands occupied cuddling a baby. So I like to change up what I do with this hour, depending largely on how I feel, as well as how many chores I'm behind on. On days I'm feeling like I'm really struggling, I really try to push myself to get a workout in, anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes. We got this Peloton bike around Christmas time and I just love it. I feel like I have no excuse now not to get a sweat on, and as much as I don't want to do it some days, I always feel better after. This really helped pick my mood up when the boys were being challenging too. I also am much more likely to skip it if I leave it until they nap. Other days, if I'm feeling overwhelmed with housework, I'd get a head start on some chores. Usually this will be things like unloading the dishwasher or starting a load of laundry. I found in this couple of weeks, if I hadn't done this, it got to 5 PM and there would be dishes piled high in the sink and laundry sat wet in the machine because it hadn't been moved to the dryer, and all this stuff would really irritate me and just make me feel like everything was getting on top of me. And finally, some mornings I decided I just needed a bit of me time, and so I set my alarm, got up at 6, grabbed a cup of tea, and then got back into bed and just enjoyed some peace and quiet. Perhaps sometimes I'd do some light reading or catch up on my to-do list and planning for the week. Once the boys are up, I know when they're not feeling well, they're going to want me to be present constantly, and if I try to fight it, I'll just make the day miserable. So I tried to enable myself to be as free as possible, at least until they go down for their nap. With this, I decided not to put too much pressure on myself at meal times, especially as this was a period where they were barely eating, and instead I just focused on quick and easy meals, so I wasn't stood in the kitchen for too long. As far as breakfast goes, porridge is one of the boys' favourites, and luckily this is one of the easiest things to make. What I do is I bring a pan of water to the boil, throw in some oats, turn the heat down and leave it while I go to get the boys up. This can be done in just a few minutes. This way, when I'm ready to come back to it in 20 to 30 minutes, I know it'll be ready just to cool down slightly with some milk or yogurt and serve it to the boys with fruit for breakfast. That way, I've been able to sit with them for the morning playtime and see how they're doing. When it gets to meal times, this was one of the hardest things for me to do, but I used to find that this was when I was likeliest to browse my phone or go off and do some chores like clean up in the kitchen or start sorting some of the clean laundry. But instead, I used this time just to sit with them. I didn't use my phone, I didn't take anything with me, I just sat. Maybe I'd eat my breakfast or grab a cup of coffee and enjoy it while it's hot, because every mama knows this is a blessing. And I'd just sit there and spend a little time with them and make sure they got some food and water down them. Lastly, the boys love sitting in the stroller, so I decided to make sure every day to get out and get some fresh air with them. Usually at this time of the morning we'd go to a playground and I'd let them run around and get some of their energy out, but seeing as they were so poorly and whingy, I just decided to do an extra long walk and we could go out and enjoy the sunshine and the breeze. And I'd go from anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. I'd take their favourite snacks and water and they were just happy as anything. This was also a time I would look forward to every day, as it gave me a break from all the fussing and the crying at home. I got to enjoy some peace, and I just love walking the streets and nosing at other people's houses. Or sometimes I would just throw on some music or a podcast to catch up on and just enjoy a moment to myself. And there we have it, guys. That is everything. I know there's nothing groundbreaking there, and maybe this is something that people do anyway in their general day-to-day, but for me, I am quite used to leaving the boys, have independent play, and I go and do a few chores here and there, and it was just not possible. It was just not possible. So I used these little moments and pockets of time to do things that I enjoyed, as well as being with them and comforting them, and it really did help, and I just felt like I was more present and helpful with them. And I'll be honest, that's just the morning section of the day. The afternoon we did spend a lot of the time just sat on the couch watching Moana over and over again, and that's all they wanted. They just wanted to sit and cuddle. So yeah, it was a long couple of weeks, but we made it through it and they are back to their happy selves. But there's a lot of other things that you can do, especially if you don't have twins. You could use a carrier and take them around and do things with them. I'm sure they'd love that, just to be close to you. And also we used to go in the bedroom a lot and just dim the lights and play some like quiet music and read some books, and they were very happy doing that. We gave in to pacifiers and their little lovies a lot throughout the day when they were feeling like that, and just took it really easy. I think they would have loved it as well if we went outside and did more, but it was extremely hot the week that they weren't very well. Yeah, there's plenty of things you can do. I think you just have to take that pressure off to get a lot done and find those little bits of the day where you do the essential things like the laundry or the dishwasher, or a little bit of self-care like working out. So yeah, I hope that all helped. If you're going through a rough time, you're not alone. We all go through it, and there's just different ways to look at your day, and have it as a time when you enjoy the cuddles, because we all know that there's not going to be many of those times ahead. So enjoy cuddling your little one, and yeah, I hope you're all okay, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.